Welcome back to Robots vs. Vampires, the show where sci-fi and fantasy collide. I'm Adrian Smith, and I am so excited for today. We've got a really unique story about vampires, but with a setting that you wouldn't expect at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's set in the Arctic Circle.
Oh, wow, okay.
So think, eternal night, icy landscapes, and a twist on those traditional vampire stories that you think you know.
I'm Julia Jones, by the way, and I can't wait to unpack this one. So we're gonna be exploring a world where a whole community of vampires, they've carved out an existence with humans in this remote Arctic village. And their truce, this uneasy truce that they've had, is about to be tested.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
The source material that you gave me for this one was incredible. I mean, it drops us right into this frozen world. And like you said, it really depends on this delicate balance between these two species.
Right.
We're talking generations of this agreement that's kept a fragile peace. But then these new vampires show up, and they're bloodthirsty.
Yay.
And they just throw everything into chaos.
Oh, yeah. And what's so interesting is that this story isn't just about vampires versus humans. It's about the struggles within the vampire community itself.
Right.
You've got these elders that are clinging to tradition, hoping to maintain the status quo. And then you have the younger generation, like Ingrid. They're willing to challenge the old ways and fight for what they believe in.
Ingrid is amazing. She's like the embodiment of defiance, the sense of justice that she has that pushes her to protect the humans, even if it means going against her own kind.
Yeah, she's a firecracker.
It is.
Here.
And it makes you think about those times in your own life when you might have felt like, you had to challenge the established way of thinking even when it was risky.
Absolutely. And, her actions force the entire vampire community to confront this fundamental question. Do they uphold the letter of their ancient pact with the humans, or do they honor its spirit by protecting them from this new threat?
Right.
It's a dilemma that really resonates with, some of our own human debates about war and pacifism and the choices that we make when we're facing danger.
For sure. And I gotta say, the story does an amazing job at creating this atmosphere of constant tension. You can practically feel the biting wind and the isolation of this village. It's shrouded in eternal darkness.
Yeah.
And it just really sets the stage for the high stakes that these characters are facing.
Yeah, and speaking of high stakes, the arrival of this nomadic vampire clan is like a storm on the horizon. These newcomers are brutal, and they're driven by this primal hunger that makes the settled vampires look tame by comparison.
Oh, yeah.
They threaten to just unravel everything, and both the humans and the settled vampires are thrown into this state of fear and uncertainty.
It's like the classic enemy of my enemy scenario.
Right.
But it doesn't fall into those predictable tropes. The way that it plays out is just so nuanced.
Right.
Filled with this moral ambiguity and these moments of unexpected connection. I mean, who would have thought we'd find ourselves rooting for a vampire-human alliance?
Totally. And what makes it even more compelling is that it's not just a strategic move. It's born out of this genuine desire to protect one another. You see this especially through Ingrid and Elias. He's the human emissary. And there's this initial distrust, this tension between them, but it gradually transforms into this grudging respect as they fight side by side.
Their relationship is like a microcosm of the larger story.
Yeah.
Showcasing how this shared adversity can chip away at prejudice and create this space for understanding. And yeah, it's not a straightforward partnership, but it feels all the more powerful because of that.
Absolutely. And the author doesn't shy away from the brutality of what they're facing either. The battle scenes are so vivid and visceral. You're right there in the thick of it with these unlikely allies feeling that desperation of their struggle for survival.
Yeah, you see humans wielding whatever weapons they can find, standing shoulder to shoulder with these vampires who have to tap into their primal instincts to fight off this new threat. It is. And one of the most powerful moments, I think, is when Elias finds himself fighting alongside Ingrid. In that moment, all their differences fade away. It's a testament to the fact that even amidst chaos and violence, there can be these flashes of connection, of humanity, that transcend our differences.
It's beautifully written. It makes you think about the power of shared experience to change perceptions. It hints at the possibility of a different kind of future for humans and vampires, one that's built on something more than just a pact of necessity.
Right.
But of course, the path ahead is anything but clear. That aftermath of the battle, it really takes a thought-provoking turn. Victory comes at a steep price, leaving these scars on both sides. It's a reminder that even when you're fighting for survival, there are consequences.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to see the state of the village. And these people both human and vampire, who have been through this. And you're left wondering if this fragile peace can ever truly be restored.
Right. The ending's genius. It doesn't tie things up neatly. You're left grappling with what happened and what it means for the future.
There's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like, this world is irrevocably changed. The old pact is shattered.
Yeah.
And both sides are just picking up the pieces, trying to figure out what to do next.
It really reflects the complexities of conflict and the shadow it casts, even after the fighting's over.
Yeah.
But amidst all that wreckage, there's these glimmers of hope. You see this newfound respect between humans and vampires, a recognition of what they've sacrificed for each other.
It makes you wonder if this could be the start of something new, like a different kind of relationship built on understanding and maybe even trust.
I was thinking about how this mirrors some real-world conflicts. We see examples of former enemies finding common ground, rebuilding trust. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's potential for healing.
It's not a given, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the story leaves us with this question. Can they overcome their history? Or will they just fall back into fear and distrust?
It's a question that resonates, especially when you think about everything going on in the world today. I think that's what makes the story so powerful. It weaves together this thrilling narrative with these deep themes about coexistence and sacrifice. It stays with you.
Absolutely. It really speaks to the author's skill. I mean, they created these characters you care about, this world that feels familiar and strange, and this story that lingers.
I'm curious what stood out to you the most. Was it the action or like the moral dilemmas?
I think what really got me was how the story flipped the script on traditional vampire lore. These aren't just bloodthirsty monsters in the shadows. They're complex beings with their own struggles.
Well, I agree. That nuance makes the story so much better.
We see them grappling with loyalty, honor, what it means to protect the ones they care about.
And let's not forget about the human characters like Elias. I mean, they're not just victims. They show courage and resilience.
They do. It reminds us that strength can be found in unexpected places.
Yeah.
That even ordinary people can rise to these challenges.
It's a reminder that we often underestimate the strength of the human spirit, and how those qualities shine even brighter when people from different backgrounds unite.
And I love how the setting of the Arctic Circle just creates this constant tension. The darkness, the isolation, it forces these characters to rely on each other.
The setting's like a character itself. It makes you realize how much our environment can influence us.
This story, it really makes you think about the bigger picture. It's not just vampires and humans. It's like how we deal with, differences, fear, and building bridges even when it seems impossible.
Yeah, it challenges us to consider what's worth fighting for, what compromises we're willing to make for survival, or even understanding. It reminds us that the world is complex.
The story is set in this village, but I was thinking, what if this was happening in other parts of the world? Like vampire communities adapting to cities or deserts or rainforests.
That's a really interesting thought. Would there be vampire Wall Street tycoons? Or vampire eco-warriors?
Right.
It makes you realize how adaptable they could be.
It opens a doorway to so many possibilities. Vampire tech moguls, vampire artists.
So cool.
It's amazing how one story can do that.
It's the power of storytelling.
What resonated with you the most about this story? Did you find yourself questioning your own beliefs?
Let us know. Share your thoughts and keep the conversation going. You can find us on social media.
Before we go, I want to leave you with one thought. We've been talking about this story in the Arctic Circle, but in Robots versus Vampires, anything is possible.
Let your imaginations run wild. What other vampire worlds can you come up with? Share your stories and ideas.
Don't forget to rate, follow, and share Robots versus Vampires. We have so many more stories to explore.
Until next time, keep those imaginations fired up. And remember, in the world of robots and vampires, anything is possible.